Okay, we are here. Welcome back, everyone. It is our second time of the Essential Activation series. And this is with Serena Amoroso, that's me, and the lovely Monique Gomez. And we
Hello.
are we are doing these series every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time. And this is really a space for you to take a little pause, to really tune into yourself, to tune into your body, to turn yourself on, to have some fun, to meet some new women, to just really be in this pleasure field together with us. And so we started last week, we're doing a series through the chakras. And so last week we started with the root chakra, which was really all about creating safety in your body and really just beginning to connect with that inner sense of belonging and I am. And today we are going and journeying into the second chakra. And this is the sacral chakra, and this is easily one of my power centers, which is I am lit up already. This is one of my favorite chakras. And so we're going to start with a little teaching and transmission on really what the sacral energy represents, how you can see it really moving through your life. And then we will do about a 15-minute embodiment ritual to drop you into actually the felt sense of that and a guided experience of that. And that will be our journey for today. So, does that sound good to everyone? Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. So, to begin, the second chakra, the sacral chakra, is located beneath your navel and it's really in your pelvis. So you can really think of this as the space where your reproductive organs are, right? Where your uterus is, where your womb is. And this chakra is really related and connected to the element of water. And so, in this space, this is really where we begin tapping into our emotional body and really feeling and honoring all of the emotions that move through us. This is like that fluidity. Oh, it already gets me moving, just like thinking about it and speaking about it. And it's deeply connected to our relationship to pleasure. So I invite everyone to pause right now and just tune into yourself of when I even say the word pleasure, what comes up for you? Is it a softening of your body and maybe like a smile on your face, a pulsing of your pussy? Or is there more of maybe like a contraction and a tightening in your body, kind of like this fear or shame energy that begins to come through of like, oh no, like this is wrong. I'm not allowed to feel pleasure. Where's your mind start to go when you connect with what your relationship to pleasure is and has been?
Hmm.
Taking a moment just to notice and reflect on that. And then tuning into what do you desire your relationship to pleasure to be? How do you want to expand your relationship to pleasure? What would shift in your life if you actually were connected to that frequency? Mm. And maybe with that, notice what you feel in your body. I know that my belly starts to relax and soften, and just like there's this whole ease around me. Because I'll share a little story of I used to be really disconnected from pleasure. Like pleasure used to kind of be like a dirty word. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that, where, pleasure and desire, these are these two things that are typically, mm, yeah, kind of like a bad word in a way. It's kind of, there's maybe a lot of shame caught up in it. It can be something that also feels really frivolous. It's something that's not important. There can be just so many stories. And so I know that, and it also typically people relate to it as sexuality, right? It's like, okay, pleasure and desires relate to sex in this very like small definition of it. And I want to expand that for all of you, where pleasure and desire is not just about sex. It is about how you are relating to life itself, to yourself, to other people, to everything. Like our desires guide us. They're really a compass for how we get to move through the world. And with pleasure, I find that it's really not a reward. So many people view pleasure as a reward. Like, right, once I do this thing, I complete this project, I struggle. then I get the reward of pleasure. And I want to open the invitation that pleasure is actually the vehicle. It is the vehicle that you get to use to journey through life. So it is really the tool and the lubrication for everything that you're experiencing. And can you do everything being in the energy of pleasure? And I have so much more to share on this, but I'm going to turn it over to Monique because I know there's things you want to chime in on already about this. So, floor is yours.
Yeah, no, I'm loving what you're saying. And for me, when I learned about the sacral chakra, right? It was the emotional. That's where the emotions began. And what also really helped me and what I resonated with was this is like the center of like creative life force. Like this is the place where we create life and like the ultimate creative energy. And that's how I started to equate sexual energy, right? Like the energy around sex, not just the act of sex, because it can be really superficial if we just think of like sex, like in our culture and things, but it deepened what sex was for me as this and sexual energy as like a creative life force where I feel inspired, where inspiration comes from, where desire, like what you're saying, right? What is it that I desire? And I let that start leading my path. And how do I find pleasure in that desire? And you or just like pleasure as I live my life, right? As I go for my desires. Um, and you mentioned shame, which I feel stopped me for a really long time to get into my body, into my sexuality, into my sensuality. Um, because shame can be real heavy, right? And we have a lot of messages and we have a lot of um, usually a lot of experiences around our sensuality, right? Being in our body, the sensualness, starting when we're little people, when we're little kids, usually we're told, I know I was told like, oh, don't do that. Like don't touch yourself that way, right? Or don't say that thing or don't create that way. There was a lot of no, no, no. This is bad. This is wrong. You are bad. You are wrong if you feel pleasure, if you have desire. So I just want to like bring that forth because sometimes it's like this shame can just be this like lurking feeling and we don't really know why or where it came from. But often it's like this story that began a long time ago. And then we get to, as we start to unwind and embody ourselves and embody the moment and ask ourselves as this adult person, like, what is it that pleasure brings and how do I want my relationship to be with it? We get to start unwinding those stories and shake them up. And then that shakes up the shame because shame will block this like ability to really let this creative energy flow, this life force energy, sexual, sensual energy to flow. And I always come down, like, I'm a big hands-on person. So I use a lot of like rubbing that belly and or just kind of letting myself lead from that space, right? And where would my pelvis want to lead? Where would my second chakra want to lead me if I didn't have any shame about it? Or noticing if shame comes up or guilt or things like that. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not doing that thing because I feel like it might be bad. And then just moving through that, right? Or like keep working with it, keep getting curious, which is something that I'll continue to talk about with all of these chakras and moving the energy. But the second one is so powerful to me. Like it was like a real life changing. When I connected to this second chakra, like everything changed for me. It opened up. I was able to connect deeper into my heart space, into my womb, into my root space, into my crown, all of it. So that's my little story and my little add-on. Really like the expression of desire too, and pleasure.
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah, so beautiful. And I love what you shared, just like the curiosity, right?
Mm.
Because none of this is to even bring more shame into your experience. Like you need to be a specific way. And oh, you need to have the most like open sacral chakra or whatever it is. Like it's none of that. This is really about the intimacy with yourself and finding what your truth is within your expression and your own embodiment. And it's not going to look like mine. It's not going to look like Monique's, and it doesn't need to look like, and it's not supposed to look like anyone else's. It's really doing what feels good and nourishing and supportive to you. And I really love what you brought in of it is this creative energy, right? Sexual energy is creative energy. It is life force energy that guides everything. And so when you are connected to your sacral, it allows you to create in the world, to create more beauty, to create your dreams and your visions, to create intimacy, connection, relationships. And so if it's more contracted or it's not balanced, that's when you might be feeling really blocked in those areas of your life. Or like, oh, I'm not really having the energy to create what I want, or I'm not really having any inspiration, or I don't even know what I want. If those are some of the problems that you're experiencing, focusing on this chakra can be super helpful. And I'll also add in, as I said right at the beginning, there's so much we can share about this. And right, we're doing like a little 15-minute micro dose. And so know that there is so much more that we're not even touching on because we could really talk about this for hours and days and weeks, and people do that. And so to keep it contained, I'll just add in of with this center, right? So the emotions, water. It can also really be that time if you are scared to feel your emotions or right, you're feeling very numb, very disconnected. This is really where you can start tuning into as well. And my invitation when you start working with more of your emotions and feeling those things that maybe you've been scared to feel because you're like, oh, this might be too intense, or I might get stuck there, or like, I'm just scared of that, like, oh, it's just too much. I don't even want to touch it. It's going to be too painful, or, whatever the stories are. As I said, pleasure being this vehicle is when you're in that, how can you bring pleasure into the experience? So, like, I know when I'm having some of my most difficult emotional times and I'm just like really struggling, it's like I use pleasure to help me come back to myself and to help me actually alchemize that emotion. And you're going to get a taste of that in the embodiment ritual that we're going to do. But that's really the seed that I want to plant for you is in what ways can you start relating to these emotions differently, right? It's just energy and motion. Emotions are really data points to communicate to us of something that we need to bring our attention to, of something that's important, of something that's guiding us back to our hearts and our wholeness. So we'll play with that. And, on the other end of the spectrum, right, of the balance, because right, this is finding your own balance. It could be either I'm completely disconnected from my emotions and I'm scared to feel them, so I don't, I'm numbing out, disassociated, to the other extreme, or maybe it's like, I don't want to say the phrase of like you're feeling too much, but maybe there's like an unproportional expression of your emotions where it's like, right, maybe something really small, like someone, I'll say like, right, someone, cut in front of you at the grocery store or something. And like if that puts you into like a massive anger spiral and you're just like, oh my gosh, everyone said this is blah, 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 and it ruins your whole day. Like, right, that's an improportional response to that stressor. And so being aware of like you're not being too emotional, but also is this proportional to the reality where then you just got hijacked. And so that's where you begin to learn to move with your emotions, honor them, never shut them off, and use them as tools. So Monique, anything to add to that?
No, I don't think so. I just love the emotional piece and energy and motion, right? It's nothing to fear. We get to be with the motion. And so I just think of that a lot. Like, how am I dancing in this? Because my love for dancing. So it's like, how am I moving with this motion, with this energy? So um, just kind of keeping that in mind and where's that like what you said, like kind of like that center spot rather than the extremes. How do we start making it kind of be more in here? So that was all. More in the center.
Okay, I'll add one more piece because okay, we were talking about the shame, we're talking about the
Yeah.
emotions, we're talking about some of this heaviness, all encoded with pleasure. And it's also like, this is the juiciness of life. Like this is
Yeah.
like right, you're eating like a really yummy peach and it's just like, oh, this is so delicious. Or you are in like a sexual erotic experience and your ability to actually receive and open through that pleasure. It's like the sacral chakra and pleasure is like the richness and the juiciness of life. And so it's like, can you open to that? Like that's really what we're playing with here because guess what? Like life is hard. Life is hard. And that's why I focus on play and pleasure so much because it's like we need that counterbalance because let's be honest about it. And so through this, can you actually experience the richness and beauty of life? Or are you stuck in like, okay, it needs to be hard. I need to prove myself. I need to earn my pleasure versus like, can this actually just be the way that I begin experiencing life? And can I
Mm.
move into that and enjoy that? Like, where can you find joy today? You know, it's very simple little things. But that's really what is important, I think, to leave you with this in this little transmission is like seeking out the joy and the pleasure like from a very full and fulfilling place, not like those artificial pleasures. You know, it's not like the numbing out pleasures that are like the instant gratification, but like the nourishing relationships, like the hearty meal, like the long slow bath, you know, those kinds of pleasures that are actually expanding you and giving you more energy versus depleting you with the instant gratification type pleasures.
I'm all for it. Yes. And I just think so much, it's like, I just go back to sensual, like start with the senses to find the pleasure. Begin with the senses. What is it that like smells really good right now? Ooh, that's pleasurable. Oh, that is pleasure, right? It's training your brain too to notice the pleasure. Oh, I just had a hot cup of tea. This is so pleasurable. This is so nourishing. So it's using the body, you in your body, in your life, to notice the pleasure. And yeah, and that's all I wanted to add.
Genius. That is perfect. I'm so happy.
Yeah, just to start, because it's a starting slow, right? It's a starting slow to retrain and to notice. And let your body help you do that. Let your sensuality help you do that.
Yeah. The noticing of the small moments is
Yeah.
it's the micro moments. The micro
Hmm.
moments are the
Yeah,
magic.
exactly.
Okay.
Whew.
So I know I want to keep chatting about this, but
I'm
we
so excited to get your guidance though for this one. So I'm ready.
okay. So yes, everyone, we are going to begin our little sacral embodiment ritual. And so for this one, I'm going to have us stand up. So chair. So we can all stand up and you're not gonna, I'm gonna guide you, so you don't need to see me. I'm trying to think it's okay that you can't fully see me. So everyone, you can just begin by closing your eyes. Just closing your eyes and beginning to turn inward into yourself, into this moment, the simplicity of being here and now. So receiving a big breath into your belly and your pelvis and sighing it out. And with these sighs, I really encourage lots of sound and moaning. Like, let this be juicy. Let this be pleasurable. So, receiving in big and sighing. Mhm. Using your sound and your breath to take you deeper into yourself. And begin swaying through your hips, side to side. As you continue to deepen your breath and bring a smile to your face, the joy and the pleasure of this moment. Hmm. So simply continuing to sway and noticing what feels good and delicious in your body, and maybe what doesn't as you do this. What would make it feel even better? So here, maybe you begin to stretch your arms. Maybe you begin to run your hands along your body. This is one of my favorites. Really listening to you and exploring you, letting your body and your heart guide you. Oh. And moving with slowness. So whether it's tracing your finger, it's moving your hips. Can you go a little slower? Can you notice what shifts as you bring that slowness in? Knowing that the slower you go, the more you can feel. And the more you can feel, the more alive you become. Mm. So maybe you bend down and just let your head hang and shake it out, letting everything roll off of your spine. And with your exhales and your sighs, maybe just what are you releasing? What heaviness have you been holding on to? What emotions have you been carrying? And can you just let them roll off you and melt into the earth? As you continue with that pleasure-filled breath. Ah. And then slowly, like you're moving through honey, can you begin coming upwards? Till you're standing again, tall and open. And now begin doing some more hip circles. And so placing your hands on your hips and just doing some circles left to right. Really big ones right now. So stretching in, feeling that moving forward with your pelvis. Really sticking your booty out as you go around. Yeah, there we go. Can you bring some turn on and some sexiness into this? I'm going the other way. Ah. And doing this for you, exploring you. And now coming into small circles with slowness in the same direction you were just going, but really small through your pelvis. Ooh, ooh. Softening your jaw, softening your eye, going the other direction through your pelvis, letting your pelvis guide you, letting your pussy guide you, letting your breath guide you. Yeah. Oh, mm. So a small circle. Now doing some figure eights. So moving with that infinity symbol. You can imagine your hips drawing that shape. And breathing in, especially if there's tightness or crinkling, just moving with that, being present with that. Oh, wow, I just had a giant crack. It was so good. Oh, I'm really bringing your whole body into this even. So, right, it's like your neck and your spine, like this waves, really like that serpentine energy, like that is your sacral. Oh, and now the other direction for your figure eights. Maybe you're tracing your hands along your body, really feeling yourself and creating that oxytocin through your system. Mm. Running your hands through your hair. Head. How can you turn yourself on right now? Ooh, and be your own best lover. Ooh. And exploring, maybe trying some movements that might feel a little stiff. Like if you try to do some body rolls, right? Like maybe that feels really tight or awkward. Maybe the figure eights are hard or awkward. So playing, like letting it be weird, letting it be uncomfortable, and just breathing with that and exploring your own body. Ah. Hmm. You're massaging through your heart space, through your womb, maybe grabbing your ass. Oh, yeah. The juiciness of being a woman and a body. Yes. Ah, and then coming back into center. I'm not going to say full stillness. Maybe you're still slightly swaying because, right, this is water, this is fluidity, this is movement, but really bringing it into more of a smaller, contained space. And placing one hand on your womb and one hand on your heart. Receiving a breath in, moaning it out. Bringing a slight smile to your face. Do you notice the sensations through your body as you recognize how easy it is to bring pleasure into you? How you are made for pleasure, and pleasure is your birthright. And feeling your womb and your pussy and your heart connected as one. Ah, feeling the softness of your body and thanking yourself for being here, for feeling, for moving, allowing, and opening something new. And remembering that you can always come back here through your touch, through your breath, through a mini moment, presence, pleasure. So when you are ready, opening your eyes, coming back to your space, noticing what's around you to ground back in. That was so good. I feel amazing. I hope you carry this energy with you throughout the rest of your day.
I feel so yummy, so juicy, so alive. Oh, I needed that so bad. Feel so turned on, just like to live.
I know. I'm like, oh, let's go take over the world.
Yeah.
Well, that's That's solar plexus now. That's next week. But it's like, yes, let's go share this and just like,
I just want to be in this yumminess, this juiciness. So thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank you,
it's
everyone.
so easy. You
Yeah.
can come back here anytime in just a minute. Okay. Thank you, everyone. We will see you again next week. Mwah.
Mwah.